Adobe Acrobat Sign in Salesforce can make a huge impact to your organization. One of the most powerful features you can utilize is large documents and push agreement services in Salesforce. You might be wondering why I say large documents. This is because by default, we can only send documents up to 4 megabytes and 9 megabytes in a batch. This means to send files that are larger, we will need to do some configurations. Push agreements will allow you to send documents, create a web form, and have agreements pushed just as if they were created in Salesforce using Acrobat Sign's API or via the EchoSign.adobe.com web application. To show you how to do this process, I'm going to bring in a true expert. Learning how to set up this service takes a while, but the time you and your organization will save in the long run is well worth the time. To kick things off, Nickel will show you the configuration prerequisites. And with that, here is Nickel.
So in order to set up the configuration, there are some prerequisites. First of all, the version should be 20.13.5 or higher in Adobe Sign. So how you can check the version? So log into your Salesforce account. On the home page, you will see Quick Find. Type installed packages and click on install packages. So here you can check what version do you have. So my version is 24.14. It's the latest version. So it should be 20.13.5 or higher in order to configure the large files. The second thing you have to take care of, the my domain should be set up. So just clear install packages and search my domain. Select my domain. So if you notice, I have already set up the domain. My domain is support test domain. So you come here, you click on edit. Whatever domain you want to set up, just give it a name and then check availability. So once you have clicked on check availability, it will show you whether it is available or not. If it is available, then just hit save, and on the next screen, you will see that the domain is under provisioning and you will receive an email. So once the domain is provisioned, then you have to deploy it. So once you receive the email, come back here and you should see another option on this screen which says deploy the domain. So you just have to click on deploy the domain and your my domain is ready. So this thing only takes 10 to 15 minutes because Salesforce provisions the domain very quickly. So I already have the domain set up. So I'll go back to the third prerequisite. The third one is that you should not have Salesforce Professional Edition. How you can check? Again, in Quick Find, search with the keyword company information. Click on company information. Scroll down. In the organization edition, you can see what edition do you have. My edition is developer edition, so it should not be professional edition. Other than this, everything is compatible for large files. So I'll clear this again. So now that we have understood the prerequisites, let's set up the large file. The first thing we have to do, we have to search with profile. Under users, you will see profiles. Click on profiles. Now we have to locate standard user profile. All right, here it is. We need to clone this profile. So I'll hit clone. So we need to give a name. Let's give this the name ABC Sign Callback User, and I'll save it. Okay, so now we have cloned the profile, and on this page, you have to find the keyword sign admin. So once you locate sign admin, you see in the custom tab settings, you see two options, Adobe Acrobat Sign Admin. These should be default on by the tab should not be hidden. So if you see tab hidden, just edit and change it to default on. So you just edit the profile here, search with sign admin. So it's by default on. It should not be off or hidden. You have to make sure that it's default on. So once we have made the changes, we'll hit save. Now on this page, go to Enabled Visual Force Page Access, edit, search with EchoSign Admin. The first one is admin settings. We are not looking for this. Second one is EchoSign Admin. So it's already enabled at my end. If you don't see this enabled, just add this. The second Visual Force page we have to add. Again, search with OAuth. You will see EchoSign Dev1 Salesforce OAuth page. This also needs to be enabled. So once you have enabled, save the changes. So now that we have enabled Visual Force pages and we also have created profile, let's move to creating the callback user. So what you need to do, again in Quick Find, search with the users. So under Users tab, you will see an option that says Users. So on this page, you click on New User. You give the first name, last name. You can choose what name you want to give. I am giving it callback user. You add the email address. The username will populate automatically. If you want to change it, you can change it here. And you need to make sure that user license should be Salesforce and the profile should be the one that we have already created. So I'm not getting this option here because I've already created the user. So once you have made the changes here, you need to save it. I'll go back to users. So I already created this user, the callback user. So the user license is Salesforce. The profile should be the one that we have created. So I'll select this profile and hit save. So if you already have the user in Salesforce that you want to use as a callback user, you can select that or you can create a new user. Just make sure that the license should be Salesforce and profile should be the one that we have just cloned. So once we are done with creating the user in Salesforce, the second step is we need to make sure that this user has an active account in Adobe Sign. So in order to check that, you need to go to Adobe Sign portal and log in with account admin credentials. Once you have logged in, go to Account tab. Go to Users tab. So here you can see the user that I created. It's active in Adobe Sign and it's the same email address that I added in Salesforce. So if the user is not active, then you need to make sure that you add that user in your Adobe Sign account and activate it. This is one of the requirements for large file configuration. All right, so we'll come back to Salesforce. I'll sign out from here. Now the user that you have created in Salesforce, we need to add permission sets. So click on permission set assignment, edit assignments. We need to provide Adobe Acrobat Sign integration user permission set. So just select this and add, save the changes. All right, so our callback user is activated. Now we log out from the admin account. And we'll log in with the callback user profile. Once you have logged in with the callback user profile, go to Adobe Acrobat Sign Admin. Under callback user, it says no account linked. Click on link an account. Allow. Use the callback user profile one more time here to authenticate in Salesforce. Perfect. Now we see callback user is successfully linked. So now we'll sign out from callback user profile and we'll sign in with account system admin credentials. Now we are done with setting up and activating the callback user. We now move to establishing the callback site. Setting up and configuring a site for the Adobe Acrobat Sign callback is mandatory so that agreement updates can be pushed to Salesforce in a timely manner. If you have not used Salesforce site in your Salesforce org, you must first register a force.com domain name. It will be used for all the Salesforce sites in the account. Keep in mind that if you are registering a new domain name, it is recommended that you don't have a very long domain name or the secure web URL may exceed the 255 character limit that Adobe Acrobat Sign has for callback URLs. So in order to configure the site, again, come to Quick Find and search with the keyword sites. So under sites and domains, you will get the option sites. Click on it. Select I have read and accepted the Salesforce site's terms of use and register my Salesforce site domain. Alright, so on the refreshed page, click New. So on the site edit page, the site label value, Adobe Acrobat Sign callback. So once you click on site name, it automatically pops up the value. In the site contact, you can see my system admin is already selected. So you need to make sure that you select the system admin here so that this user will receive the notification about sites. In the default web address, type Adobe Sign callback with no spaces. The active checkbox should be checked. Active site homepage. Should be EchoSign callback. EchoSign is the legacy name for Adobe Sign. Now hit save. You can leave rest of the configuration as it is and just save the changes. Now that we have activated the site, on the same page, we come here, click on public access settings. Click on login IP ranges. Click on new. Now we need to add the IP ranges that have been provided in the help article. So we'll copy start IP. We'll copy end IP. And we'll copy the description. And we'll save the changes. It will show you the error. The list of IP ranges do not cover your current IP address. If you save this range, users with this profile will not be able to log in from your current IP address. You can ignore this error. Just check this box and hit save again. So you can see one IP range has been added. We need to do the same for all the IP ranges. So we are done with the login IP ranges. You can see I was able to add 14 IP ranges as provided in the help article. And this is how it looks like. These are our final login IP ranges. So now we are done with the common configuration for large file and push agreement service. Now we'll move to the specific configurations for large files. For that, let's go to Object Manager, Agreement Object, Fields and Relationships. So here in the quick find, Search with invocation. You will see attachment service invocation count field. Click on it. Click on set field level security. So make sure for the callback user profile, read only and visible both are checked, and hit save. Now come back to home and let's go back to the site that we created. Search with sites and click on Sites tab. Open the site. Click on Public Access Settings. Enabled Apex class access. We need to enable the Apex class for large file. Click on Edit. Search large file. So when you search with large file, it automatically comes up. EchoSign underscore dev1 dot large file download service. Select this, add, save. So on this page, click on Edit. Scroll down. Come to Custom Object Permissions. Check Read and Create for Agreements object. Save the changes. So now it's time to update the custom settings. Again, search with sites and click on sites one more time. This time click on site URL. In the new tab, you will see the URL. Just copy this URL. Come back to the previous tab. Clear the quick find area and now search custom settings. Click on custom settings. Adobe Sign settings. Hit manage next to Adobe Sign settings. In the default organization level value, click new. In the callback URL Adobe to Salesforce site, paste the URL that you just copied and save the changes. Now we are done with the large file configuration and you should be able to send files larger than 4 MB and 9 MB in batch. Now let's move to push agreement service. Let's check the specific configuration we have to enable for push agreements. So clear the quick find area and again search for sites. Click on Sites tab. Open site. Click on Public Access Settings. Enabled Visual Force Page Access. Edit. Here, search with push callback. So you will see echosign_dev1 dot echosign agreement push callback. Select this Visual Force page, add it here, and save the changes. Now come back to Sites, click Sites. Again, click on site URL. Keep this tab open. In the help article, you will find what we have to append to this URL. So here, / and paste this from the help article. Now copy the entire URL and send it to Adobe Sign support. You will have to create a ticket with Sign support and provide this URL to them. They will update this in Sign backend in order for push agreements to be enabled. So once they have enabled this, they will also check a couple of more settings and they will enable push agreement service for your org. After that, the agreements that you sent outside of Salesforce will have a record created in Salesforce, just like they were sent from Salesforce. If you want to do the same thing via APIs, you just have to use this URL and pass it in the callback URL section in the payload. This will do the same thing and create a record in Salesforce.